Uh, we'll now delve into the session of Revolutionizing Gaming with Immersive Technologies. We have with us Mr. Indrajit Ghosh, who will set the context and moderate the session. Karan Gaikwad, he's lead product team KRAFTON India. Aditya Mani, founder YoloGram Style, and Mayank Rajpoot, studio head Lakshya Digital. Without wasting any time, I'll request all the panelists to come onto the stage and request Mr. Indrajit Ghosh to moderate the session. Thank you. Over to you, Indrajit.
Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity, and I thank CII and IGGS for creating such a impeccable platform for the future. So today's topic is very interesting, and now gaming is no longer a fun or it's a massive industry and a career, and are a force that the future is shaping, and from AR, VR, AI and metaverse to digital fashion, esports, gaming is evolving in a lightning speed. And India is not just catching up, we are also setting trends for the world. So today we have three trailblazers actually from the industry and gaming ecosystem in our unique way. We have Karan Gaikwad, lead product team KRAFTON. Then we have with us Aditya Mani, the founder of YoloGram. And finally Mayank Rajpoot from Lakshya. So here we will start our session with, let's directly get into the session, because these guys are making the future of the gaming, and they are. So my first question will be, I will take it a different way. We will take it that we will take a question and we will ask your perspective, three of your perspective on it. So we can understand that, because we are looking at different from, coming from a different industry, same industry, from a different perspective, we will look at it. So my first question will be, how do you define immersive gaming? Is it just about AR, VR, or does it extend beyond that? So we start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Indrajit. See, the definition of immersion is very simple. An immersive game which captivates you, which keeps you hooked on the screen, right? But immersion means different for different people. 4 people playing Ludo for 40 minutes are immersed in that game. Couple of years ago, that did not exist. But a new level of immersion, let's say, captured India when Ludo was launched. I'll give you a couple of more examples to maybe describe my point. Let's talk about immersion in audio. So there's a very good game on PC. It's called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. If any of you get a chance to play that game, do check it out. The audio design will put you in a state of awe in terms of how it is able to immerse you into its world. In terms of visual immersion, I think there are a lot of examples. A lot of these Naughty Dog games are great examples of visual immersion. There is immersion through storytelling. I think there's a very, I think a couple of years ago, there was an indie game called Edith Finch. I think if you check out the story of it, like it'll completely immerse you in its story. So immersion is a broad topic. It means different to different people. And technology is nothing other than something that enables this immersion. Yeah.
So, yeah. Please.
So thank you, Indrajit. Thank you, IDGS and CII for the opportunity. So I kind of would like to echo everything that Karan spoke. So Immersion by itself is, it could be auditory, it could be visual, it's multisensory also. People are even talking about, being able to have a codec for smell. So you could technically even codify and decode smell and have smell transported as well. But we won't go there right now. We'll only look at the two important senses that matter, which is audio visual. And if the question is really whether immersion is only AR, VR, no, I don't think so. I think it depends on how you engage the player. So, in the case of many games, once you're immersed, whether you're immersed into Ludo, you're immersed into anything, you are totally in that zone. So even we could see it that we had a small game in our booth. So incidentally, we do avatars. So, we personalize you by bringing you inside the game. That adds a level of personalization to it as well. So what people feel like they're actually in there and they feel that level of excitement because they can see their character inside. And I feel that that is where, the whole concept of immersion lies. And like what Karan said, storytelling. The whole game of storytelling now is changing with AI. So earlier, we had a linear path. We had multiple routes which you could take. So the NPC would say, which option do you want? 1, 2, 3, and then you choose that, and it takes you down one storyline. Today, with AI, you could have the NPC, on the fly, come up with a response to what kind of questions you have. So that takes storytelling to the next level, because then somewhere your mind plays tricks on you, and you think you are actually talking to a player, but you're actually talking to an NPC. Yeah. So the level of immersion can come in from different angles. It can even come in from the conversational style. It can even happen when people are in a kind of a battleground kind of game where they're just hearing each other's audio and they feel like they totally know these people inside out, but they've never met them. They could have that kind of friendship and that immersion coming in from there. So I don't think it's only AR, VR. I think AR, VR adds a next level, because if you have ever tried VR, I'm sure each one of you have had your magic VR moment, and each one of you are believers, which is why you're all here and why we have a full house. But I think immersion has all these aspects to it, and I think each one of them is equally important for a game developer.
Yeah, before going to Mayank, I will share the experience we had yesterday. We was playing, we made an avatar, okay. Me and one of my colleague Karthik. And we took a pic, and immediately he transformed it into a avatar. And we was fighting. So within few seconds, we got into the game. We immersed into the game. And that was a live example that how that technology, and when we see that I'm fighting and somebody is kicking me and hitting me, so the immediate reaction comes out from you, and you get into that. Yeah. That is what, and you're playing a other character, you're not getting into that skin, but here you are getting into the skin. Yeah. That's where the entire magic happens.
Exactly, all the aspects that actually make the user feel part of the game. Now, that is what we are talking about here. But again, when we talk about the tech part, AR, VR is definitely, one bigger chunk of it. But stuff like haptics or spatial audio, all these techs are contributing to, making the games more immersive. And when we talk about immersive games or immersive tech, we talk about games that are not supposed to be played, rather experienced. Or maybe the art that is not supposed to be seen anymore. It is supposed to be felt. So, that's what immersive gaming or immersive tech is all about now.
So anybody want to add anything to it?
I just want to talk about art, which can be, so today if you look at big exhibitions today, yeah. Where even if you go to India Art Fair, yeah. There was a line outside the BMW hall where every consumer who came would touch something on the screen and the screen would respond in some way. So they are creating the art by just touching on the screen and doing things. But it's like a way in which you are interacting with the art. You are creating the art as you go along. So even that's a level of immersion, which AI and all these tools and motion tracking and all enable today.
Great.
Generating that connection between the user and your story. That's about
That's true. That how the things interacts. True. So from here, then my next question is, how is AI contributing to making games more immersive? Because now everybody is to AI and ChatGPT, now DeepSeek, and now everybody is getting sick on this.
So this question was actually kind of covered in previous point by Aditya.
A
So
bit.
I would like to add upon to the information that Aditya shared earlier. So we touched upon the point of NPCs. NPCs actually, they behave dynamically according to how the player is performing in the game. On top of that, there is this concept of procedural content generation. Like your map is exceeding one way.
Yeah.
In fact, your storytelling is also getting customized the way player is actually playing. So this is the direction where we are going. So this is how AI is impacting. Pretty much everything is being powered by AI now.
So I will ask what your take is that. You.
Yeah. We have had AIs in games for a long time. The enemies that you see on screen, like whether you're playing Doom, whether you're playing any Naughty Dog game, they have coded behaviors,
Yes.
right? And like this, the term AI has been maybe over exaggerated in the past couple of days, but that does not mean it's a new technology. It's an evolving technology, and that's the whole point of AI, the evolution aspect of it, right? The way that I see the recent evolution of AI impacting immersion and game development is in primarily three ways, right? The first way is that it will democratize knowledge, right? So the complex systems that you see in a AAA game are now available for AA and single A studios as well. So democratization of knowledge will be possible through AI. The second thing is content creation. So while developing games, there is one figure that we have to keep in mind: dollars spent per hour of gameplay, right? And that is very expensive as the game becomes bigger and more expensive to make. However, with AI, this figure can reduce. The amount of content that you can create for a particular amount of money that you have will increase. And that is where AI can help you with. The third pillar where AI can help in is personalization. So KRAFTON just partnered with NVIDIA recently, and we released a feature called the PUBG Ally. This is in the PC version, not in the mobile version. And this is obviously at a tech phase right now. But what it can do at this point in time is, hey, you can tell your ally, hey, give me medkits. So it will give you medkits. So it will behave like one of your squad members. So a personalized experience. So I think you also touched base on personalized storytelling. So based on how the choices that I make in, let's say, a single player narrative driven game, the story of the world will change and it will react to my behavior. So these are primarily at this point in time the three pillars in which AI can affect immersion and specifically game development.
Yeah, I think very well said, Karan. I think if you've known people in the gaming space or game design space, we all know that AI, this word, all old-time games have had an AI. Depending on where you are in the scene, the AI will come and attack you. So it knows where you are, and based on that, it's coming out attacking you from some hidden. How was that happening? So it was basically stemming on the idea that things which are non-deterministic, it can react to that. Now, if you looked at Snapchat lenses that we've had for nearly 10 years now, or 8, 9 years, they don't know everyone's face, but then they know what a nose is, they know what a face is, they know what cheeks are, and then you have that dog face or you have different tongue come out because it knows roughly where you're. So all of this is non-deterministic behavior, but has some pattern recognition of what it is, and it adds on that layer of generative, which is basically what we're seeing today. So even when you have mixed reality games and say if I'm in this room, it knows the blue carpet is the floor. It's a plane like this. So you'll have flowers come up over there. It knows that is the floor because it's able to do that kind of tracking. All of this is AI enabled because it's impossible to tell the VR app in advance that this is how the floor will look, but it has to figure it out at that point in time. all this non-deterministic behavior, all of this is what, helps in visual, it helps in storytelling. So now people are coming up with the idea that could you have, the storyline develop as the player goes along, and could you have, parts of the levels evolve based on all of that is going to be a part of AI. We haven't seen it yet, but we have heard a lot of studios talk about doing things like this. So I think, that's where things are heading, and it doesn't just end with audio and video and what we see and hear. It's all of this: the storyline developing, the even personalization from a language perspective. So think about all the players who speak in Bhojpuri, who speak in Hindi. The AI, the NPC can talk back in all those languages. So it suddenly increases the reach. So rather than immersive being a limiting factor by saying you need these headsets, it could actually be an extending factor by reaching into linguistics that you're normally not designing the game for.
More localized.
Yeah.
So from here, my next question is that how can game developers strike a balance between immersion and accessibility for the wider audience?
I'll take that.
You start, Mayank.
Okay. So I would say, in terms of AI, there is still that, stigma or thought process. People, there is one portion of people who are still shying away from getting into this space, thinking that there would be some policies coming up restraining it. On the other side, there are people who are completely pro it. But the technology is, it's evolving by the day, and it will keep moving ahead. Again, from a game maker's perspective, your primary goal is to reach to the maximum audience. So if you follow just one direction, you'll just, you won't be able to reach the other part of it. So number one, I would say that all the game developers should still, because we are still not there in the immersive tech, they should still keep making games cross-platform. There should be, ports of the games for different platforms, because we have all generation of people playing the games. I am into this industry, but I'm still a PC gamer. Yeah. I have consoles at home, but I don't like playing at console. That's my personal choice. Yeah. Second part is from immersive tech's point of view, I guess the level of immersion that the game provides, that also should be kept, that it can be modulated by the user himself. Like how deep the person wants to go into immersion. There could be different stages that he selects, or he wants to stay away from the immersion, because there are challenges with it also. There is a thing called cyber sickness. We talk about motion sickness quite a bit with AR VR headset. Cyber sickness is rather a wider term. It's primarily the sensory conflict, what your eyes see and what your body feels, that conflict.
In VR, motion sickness is also there.
Yeah, motion sickness is part of it, it's after effect of it. So this, I think we are still 10 years away from covering all these aspects. Maybe the haptic suits are so powerful by 5-10 years that your sensory match is completely there, or your locomotion system in the game, or the field of view that your AR VR headsets provide you, or the the level of fidelity or the level of detail that these headsets provide. There's still a lot. There's still very long road to go. So till we reach that point, again, users should have the choice to decide how deep I want to go into it. Yeah. And then there is mixed reality sort of stuff also. So all those aspects should still be kept. The developers should not really just move away from the traditional ways of making game and directly get into the immersive tech.
Yeah.
Karan, your
I'll just this. Sort of add on to your point of that one statement of the developers should give the choice to the players as to how much immersive they want it to be. I would take it a step further and say that developers have no choice but to do that, because at the end of the day, the players will play what they want to play, right? And players can play on the devices that they have, right? The laptop penetration in India is not high at all. Or the PC penetration or the console penetration in India is not high at all. So if you're talking about game development in India at scale, I think 80% of your conversations are around mobile. So if there is a choice between, let's say, Actually, it's not even a choice between immersion and accessibility. It's accessibility first,
Yeah.
and within and after that, how can you make immersive content within the devices that there
Very
are?
accessible.
Yeah. I think what AI has helped us do is creation of immersive experiences will be easier. So, like, if you just zoom out and try to see how the industry has progressed over decades, the gaming industry started with tech innovation, right? The first game was, I think, Pong. It just
Yeah.
like it just to just
Some people.
table tennis sort of a game on EA, but that was primarily a tech-driven EA. But post that, using that technology, more and more immersive experiences were created. Then came, let's say, the cassette, which was a tech innovation. Then within that, you saw creativity coming in. Then you saw CD, within that creativity coming in. Similarly, now you have AI, right? So the tech part of it is, we are at a technical point. Post this will come creativity, right? So with the constraint of the accessible devices that we have, um, how do we use technology to create more immersive experiences is the problem statement for um, today's game developers. Like specifically, let's say even in mobile, when we started developing games on mobile, we started with Snake, right, on those Nokia phones,
Nokia.
right? Then came, which was black and white, just pixel games. Then came, let's say, color games with sound. Then came games with audio chatting. Then there are some games with video chatting, right? And then technology takes one step, creativity takes two more steps, and that is how the industry is progressing. We are just at one stage of that cycle.
Very well captured, Karan. Very well. So I will.
Yeah,
Your take.
yeah. So
How are you looking?
when I bring in a unique perspective, because on both sides of me are what I think stalwarts, because there is one tech leader here who has endless budgets. So we think, and then you have companies which have clients which have huge budgets. So you can really do experimental things. But people like us, I always say it's important to stay alive.
Yeah.
So for a small guy like me, bootstrapped, I have to stay alive. So for me, I have to make sure my vision matches what is happening in immersive. So if you look at the big guys out there, you look at Apple, they have a Vision Pro. Look at Meta, they've got a Meta Quest going. Look at Google, they have immersive XR as a new OS coming up. So that means these guys have employed the best PhDs, they've got the best guys in town. They know there is something which is going to happen here. 6G is going to happen for a reason. So my long-term view has to have that vision in mind. But short-term, I have to live. So I have to make sure that my survivability comes out of mobile. My survivability comes. So build your content and your platform in such a way which could tomorrow work, because those devices are going to get lighter and lighter and more powerful, better battery. All of that's going to take 2 to 3 years. And like what Karan said, it's first the tech revolution happens, then the tech enthusiasts say, okay, what do we do with this? Another 4-5 years for content, useful content to come out of it. So if you want to survive that 5-6 year cycle, you want to make sure that your content is in that pipeline, but is in a more usable state, whether it's mobile or iPad or whatever it is, which is at least somewhat consumable. Because if I make content which is VR exclusive today, I'm as it is narrowing down my pie, and then within that you have to see, people don't use VR all the time. They own a headset, they put it away. It takes time to charge, put it on. So I would say have your experiences VR ready, but focus on the same kind of 3D experiences that work on mobile platforms.
Also.
Yeah.
So from here, if you look 5-10 years ahead, what's one big shift you predict in immersive gaming? I will start from Mayank.
Okay. So we started our discussion with personalized, storytelling and all that. I would say by 5 years we'll have all that tech, so that the whole content is hyper personalized. I think that's the height of making it immersive for a user. Other than that, I would actually say that the difference between the digital world and the physical world that reduces quite a bit. And if that happens, that will actually be a big boon for mixed reality esports. You know, somebody is actually playing in the field and the other person is playing at home, but they are doing it all together.
Yeah, true.
So I hope that happens soon.
Very much optimistic. So, but Karan, your take on this? That you are looking for a wider. That was what is Aditya saying, that you are very broader thought process and in your system. While you are looking to how to up to 5 and 10.
So I would take this question more from a business perspective, right? And I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years, but I can see the behaviors which are there today and maybe extrapolate some of those behaviors as into possible futures, right? So one behavior which I see is content consumption is getting shorter and snackier, right? Like we had like TV serials, then we had YouTube, now we have TikTok, and maybe that's something which will happen to games as well. Maybe we might see a TikTok of games. Who knows? Short, snacky content. Second, along similar lines, is gaming is in a competition for time against a lot of other forms of content. So AI is not just being used only for gaming, it's being used by all industries everywhere. And everyone would benefit from it and make better products. One of the industries which is closer to gaming is audio, like is content industry, like TV series. So maybe in the next couple of years, we'll see extremely immersive storytelling happen. Like one example was Bandersnatch on Netflix, which took a lot of money to produce. But if you see, there are already apps. I don't know how many of you have heard, but there's an app called Reel Shorts. So it is like extremely short, snacky content in a game format. And I would see that format evolving into much more engaging games. And third, 100% like personalized universes, where the game makes you feel like you are part of the story and you are in fact making the story for the game and not just being part of it. So I think these are 3 trends that I see.
Very, very well. But Aditya, I will like to know that from what he was saying, that because you are working in not only the immersive in the gaming industry, that you were saying, not into the gaming industry or entertainment industry. Beyond that, how you look, your perception?
Sure. So definitely all content is going to get very short. So experiences are going to be like, so if you look at most Snapchat, gamified Snapchat experiences, they're very, very short. So that is how I also see things happening, because we're going to have these glasses. So if you see what Meta Orion did, where they came out with their glasses, they didn't tell anyone the price point, but they said this is what you can do.
Yeah.
You can just put it on and play virtual table tennis with a friend somewhere else, but it's bounce. All it's doing is tracking the table in front of you, and you're doing that, and someone from the other side is hitting it. So in order to have these short experiences, or the way Google Immersive is coming out with their immersive maps. So, I can be in Connaught Place, I can just put on my glasses, look around and see who is giving a good lunch discount right now.
Okay.
So that is the way in which business will see value in this. All I have to do is look and, okay, that restaurant over there. So I know the direction, I know everything, I can walk towards that. So that is where business value comes in. That's a promotion I can catch right now. And I don't want an irritating notification to come to me. It is when you seek it at that point in time. So these snackable kind of content coming on glasses, you will not wear your glasses all the time. You will not wear it. You will just wear it when you want, take it off. And even your screens for cars will become more like, you'll have augmented reality coming up in cars, which are going to be telling you things like, popping up and telling you things. So this is how I see things. I don't know if it will work out that way, but definitely personalization, because every corporate today is anxious on how can we use this DeepSeek, this stuff. ये रोज एक नया article आता है यार, इसको करो तुम, team लगाओ और इसको ठीक करो. So, keeping that point of view, everyone is going into this hyper-personalized space, and it can be done today with AI. So we're going to already have that as a base layer, that all the data is hyper-personalized, and then we're going to have the immersion also come up in small snackable, say. So it's all three things coming together. These lightweight devices, snackable content, and hyper-personalized.
Superb. So, Tuman, this is my last question, and after that, we can go to the open the forum for other questions from the audience. So what final piece of advice would you give to game developers and tech enthusiasts looking into the innovative in this space? This is a very tricky question, but
Okay. To game developers and tech enthusiasts.
yeah,
I'll take the first one first.
yeah,
To game developers, see the trend, we all are seeing this trend now. Everybody's talking about immersive tech and immersive gaming. Please don't just follow the trend and make immersive content. Make meaningful immersive content. Ultimately, at the end of it, when your content reaches your audience or the player of the game, if the game itself is not that great, the rest of the stuff is just a novelty value, then it will not really last long. Eventually, the game experience is the core of it. The tech is just a layer of it. So that part never goes away. The gameplay, the art in the game, whatever makes a game good, the story of the game, that is what needs to be focused on, and that focus can't really be, kept loose. Second point is, please be agile. The tech is changing very fast, and we don't know where we'll be after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In fact, the whole industry is not really able to wrap their head around the fact, like, what's going to happen after 2, 3 years? Is this industry going to thrive, or would there be challenges? Nobody knows. So be agile, be open to learning. That's the most important point. And on the second point, tech, all that stuff, I won't really be able to contribute much to that, but I think let's not just think from a games perspective. Aditya mentioned multiple examples. We can think of so many different things like education sector, all the other sectors where this immersive tech can be utilized. So, be open to thinking from multiple perspectives and be open to learning also.
very true. It is not a gaming is not an industry agnostic thing. This is where this is a very interesting thing comes out, that you don't look into the gaming
I won't say that. I won't say that.
So, yes, you will say that. So what Karan will say is something different. You won't say that?
No, I echo Mayank's all of Mayank's thoughts, and see, I'm from the gaming industry, and I intend to be in the gaming industry, so I can't comment on other industries and immersion there. Maybe Aditya, you can comment there, but what I'd like to just advise game developers, and this is irrespective of new technology, whatever, but I like this principle of ikigai, right? And maybe you can use that to define your decision. So it's basically made of four parts. Number one, what do you want to do? Number two, what can you do? Everybody wants to make a GTA, but can you make a GTA? Number three, what is it that will benefit people? And four, what is it that will generate revenue for you? Some sort of an intersection in between this, in this wild world of changing technology, etc., etc. I think, at least according to me, this can be a good guide for you to navigate yourself in this fast-changing world. That's all.
So we end up with your outlook.
It's interesting when we've had such good. So basically, one has to be realistic. So when you play a VR game, you draw that circle around yourself, right? You draw that little border around yourself. So what is that basically telling you? Your vision or your futuristic vision and all should be elsewhere, should be forward-looking, but your feet have to be on the ground. That's so important, because if you don't do that, you'll stumble upon something, you'll fall down. So I think that is where I would say build for today, but look out for tomorrow. I think that is something where everyone sometimes builds for tomorrow, and then they say that tomorrow never happened. So then you're disappointed. So just look out for all what these guys are doing, whether it's Vision Pro or Meta and all. Just keep seeing what they're doing, because they know how they will probably build tomorrow. You cannot build tomorrow, so just keep a lookout for that. Build for today, see where the customers today are, see where the brands today are, so that you can solve their today's problems. with the vision that, with the promise that you'll be able to deliver what tomorrow can bring. So that's basically what, you know, a lot of developers try to force fit technology. They, you know, इसमें AI डाल दिया, तो AI क्यों डाला भाई इसमें? So you have to be able to answer that question, because the brand will ask, the investor will ask, everyone will ask, why should I just don't want it for, you know, you may want it for your resume, but you may not want it for a project because it will increase the cost of the project. So that's something which I feel a lot of developers, they love doing that. They like, इसमें ना computer vision डाल दिया हमने. अच्छा भाई क्यों चाहिए computer vision इसके अंदर? So you know, that's where the reality comes. That's where your feet have to be on the ground. So I always try to remember that marker that you draw around in VR as a reminder.
One more point that I actually missed is it's primarily about the game developers who are making games. So
Hello.
be open to learning about all the aspects of the game development. If you're a programmer, you should know how the, you know, what does it entail making an art or making a rig, or how does the animation gets done. You don't really need to do everything hands-on, but be open to learn about all the aspects of the whole cycle.
Very well said. Thank you so much. You was learning so much of learning from me also, and taking the permission. Anyone has any questions to the panelist? So we ended. It was an incredible discussion, and thank you, all three of you.
Thank you very
And
much.
Thank you very much.
No barrier between you and the tea or the water or any break. Sorry for being the barriers.
Okay. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.